Well folks, welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. Today I got a comparison video for you. One of the main goals that I have here at the channel is always showing you different options so that you can make the best purchasing decision with your hard-earned money. And so today that's what I'm intending to do here with three sub 5-inch knives from Tops Knives. If you're in the market for a good quality 1095 blade, Tops Knives has a huge plethora of blades that are very high quality, and it really just depends on the application as well as the design on which one you would want, particularly in that sub 5-inch range, and that's what you're looking for is 1095. Tops makes some of the best around, and particularly in recent years they've really come out with some of those, if you will, companion, bushcraft, camping, whatever, designed and style knives. And so today in this video, I just want to show you three super popular designs and show you the pros and cons of each so that you can make a really good purchasing decision when you're trying to lay down your hard-earned money and trying to decide which design is going to fit your needs and be best for you. So today we're going to be looking at the Tops Hog, the Tops Bob, and the Baja 4.5. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to it. We'll start looking at these blades, see what they can do, see how they've performed, and I'll just kind of talk you through their design so that hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a better idea of which of these three blades would be the best for you. All right, for this quick comparison, I'm going to have the best be on the bottom, my least favorite on the top. So as you can see here right out of the gate, what we're about to talk about, the Baja is my favorite and the Bob is my least in this area when it comes to the blade and the blade performance. I love the black river wash coating that Tops is doing lately. It's fantastic, very low traction, and just gives it a really cool feel that these other knives aren't going to offer you. I love the full flat grind with the really nice belly. I love all of that, and one of the biggest aspects of it is that it's 5/32 where these other two knives are 3/16 of an inch thick. The thinner the blade, the better the slicer, and in this size of a knife, under 5 inches, you're not going to be chopping down huge trees and you're not going to be splitting huge pieces of wood. You just can't. They're short knives and they're not really designed and set up for that type of task, say like a BK9, an SE Hungalis, a Tops Steel Eagle, those 1/4 inch saber ground, 7 or 8 inch or even 10-inch blades are going to be designed for heavy duty chopping and batoning. And so it's good to have thick blades when you're talking about those type of knives. But with these knives, the thinner the better. So I love the Baja in that sense that it's super thin, full flat grind with a great belly and great coating. Next up is the Tops Hog. I like this one because it's a very high saber grind. The downside is that it has that traction coating that I'm just not a huge fan of. I prefer the black river wash or like a satin or a stone wash finish. Just means less stuff you got to fight with, and it is 3/16, so it is a little bit thicker, so you can notice that it's not quite the slicer that the Baja is. And then finally the Tops Bob. I just am not a fan of this particular grind that they've done, and again with the 3/16 of an inch, and I'm just, there's something about Scandies that they're good, and particularly on Moras they're fantastic, but it just doesn't, this blade doesn't perform as well as either of these two blades in the task that I would want a knife of this size to do. I'm talking about food prep, light batoning, and feather stick making and those type of things. I just prefer either of these knives over the Bob, and out of all of them, the Baja. All right, ergos, and we're going to start at the bottom with the best again. The Tops Hog, I believe, has the best, most ergonomic handles. They have the most rounded, it's the most contoured, the most machined, and it just really feels fantastic in the hand with zero hot spots, just so ergonomic. Then it goes to the Tops Bob, which is close, but you can see it is a little bit more blocky, and that's just something that you feel in your hand. Doesn't really cause any hot spots or any issues like that. Still really nice, natural, straight off the back, but it's just not quite as rounded and machined as the Hog, which will have, again, the best handle ergonomics. Then finally, the Baja, though a good handle ergonomics, there's nothing wrong with it, and still doesn't really create horrible hot spots. You do start to feel particularly the ribbing right here on the handle, as well as the jimping is closer to the handle than some of the other designs, and because there's no coating, it's just very sharp, and it's a little bit shorter than the other knives. So when it comes to handle ergonomics, the Tops Hog is the best, with the Baja 4.5 being the least ergonomic. All right, so when it comes to comparing the sheaths, it goes from bottom to top in my likability. The best of the three is the Kydex sheath that comes on the Tops Bob. I just love Tops Kydex. It's very slim, holds the sheath, or excuse me, holds the knife in the sheath very well. The rotatable belt clip is very nice and gives up just a lot of carry options. I think out of all three knives, this has the best sheath. Then as we go down, the leather dangle sheath that comes with the Baja is a good leather sheath. I just prefer Kydex. The cool thing to note as well is that all three of these knives will fit easily inside this leather sheath. So if you buy a Baja and you own either of these other knives, they will be rotatable inside this leather sheath, and you can also get just the leather sheath itself through Tops, and I believe that's right around the $45 mark. If you own one of these other knives and say you don't necessarily want the Baja, but you want to purchase, you know, that leather sheath, you can get it in both black and brown for your knives. Then finally, this nylon sheath that comes on the Tops Hog is really sad and pathetic, and I hate it. Honestly, I do not like it at all. It's not my favorite carry option at all, and if you are getting the Hog, you are definitely either going to want to purchase the leather or get a custom molded Kydex for this knife. Well, folks, it's time for us to wrap up this video. I hope that overall this is just kind of pointing you in the right direction, showing you my opinion on the different things from the sheath to the handle to the blade and how they perform, so that you'll be able to decide which thing is most important to you. Maybe a sheath is super important and you hate, you know, having to get a custom sheath. Well, great. Well, then maybe the Bob's the best for you. If you're like, no way, I wear gloves a lot and I'm not really worried about handle ergonomics and I just want the best slicer, well, then it's going to be the Baja. If you're looking for handle ergonomics and you're like, no way, I'm going to be holding my knife for hours on end and I want it to be the most comfortable, it's going to be the Hog 4.5. So there's really no perfect blade in all three of these. There's pros and cons to each one of them, like most knife designs out there. So finally, to kind of wrap this up, I'm sure I'm going to get this a lot, so I'll figure I'll just answer it now. Hey, of those three, which one would you take if you only could have one? Well, you know, I really have thought about that a lot. I've used these blades a ton. I've had a lot of field use with all three of these knives through now a couple years, you know, from the Bob to the Hog and now the Baja being the most recent. And of these three, if I could only own one of them, it would be the Hog. The ergonomics are extremely important to me. It performs very close to the Baja. The Baja blade is still a little bit better in the performance, but the handle is just so fantastic, and I like the blade over the Tops Bob. So when it comes down to it and boils down to it, I think this is the best option. Yes, you're gonna have to upgrade the sheath, and that sucks, but you know, hey, you got to do what you got to do. The blade's the most important part, and, you know, the how it feels in your hand and how it's going to perform. And I think this is just kind of the best of all three of those knives for the most part. So this would be the one that I would take. You can take the other two. I would keep this one. So as always, guys, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Check us out on all the relevant social media. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.